Vega Squadron's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Vega Squadron's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Beastmaster.
Vega Squadron's turn to pick.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Global Grandmasters playoffs. We're here in game number 2 of Ad Finem versus Vega Squadron. Game 1 going the way of Vega. Fairly convincing manner, but we'll see if Ad Finem are up to the challenge to take us to an ace match. This matchup 50-50 on the Dota 2 Lounge odds. Well, things have skewed quite a bit on our live bets with Vega looking strong in game 1, but we'll see how things continue. I'm Zayori, joined again by Motpax. Trent, my man, how you feeling here coming into game 2?
10 seconds.
Well, I'm feeling like we got a Dazzle this time, as it's not going to be banned out in the first phase. Not going to be Darkseer coming out here, though, so Mag will have to pick a different hero, especially because his Beastmaster also just getting by Ad Finem. I'm expecting them to bounce back. I think Ad Finem are going to take game 2. I was really pulling for a 2-for-1. Uh-oh. Okay, hold on. I'm going to cool my jets here. That's a Terrorblade, but a team that's rightfully so, I think that the odds should have been 50-50. Expecting them to punch right on back.
No doubt. Now, this opener makes me a little bit nervous. I think Beastmaster, a very safe first pick no matter who you are, but Dazzle Terrorblade immediately from Vega Squadron. This duo has a lot of synergy, but mostly that shallow grave, keeping him alive so that he can get off those value sunders. Immediately, Vega Squadron ban out the Elder Titan. I bet they had their fingers crossed, just wishing, please do not pick the Elder Titan. Oh, thank God they didn't pick it. Instant ban, because I think that was the go-to hero. But you've got the Dazzle, so that does give some extra armor to the Terrorblade to try to make up for that natural order in those later game team fights. But they will be happy to see that one taken out of the pool as Ad Finem pick up Wisp with their second.
Yeah, they'll be taking the other approach to Terrorblade with the Beastmaster picked up first. Going to have that Hawk vision, now with the eye out for the global potential. They're just going to be able to get that vision over that Terrorblade and go for those ganks in the jungle, like kind of like early to mid-game focus here. A lot of teams would go for something like Bat Rider. You'll often see banned out by teams with Terrorblade. Ooh, is they counter that Timber Saw? This is what we talked about this in a couple games, but I don't often get to see both the Terrorblade and Timber together.
You mean the Timberblade? Yes! I love
the thing, guys. Just like Fetch. Just two great things in our lives here.
You know, I was jokingly telling people at Moonduck that I wanted to bring back Fetch, and I immediately got threats of leaving the studio, so I let Fetch be. That one I think I'm not gonna force the issue on. But Wisp mixed with the Sven, not a bad counter plan here for Ad Finem. Sven, hero that can kind of go man mode against the Terrorblade.
10 seconds.
Yeah, that's like Thug Gaming Dota right now, I think, with the puck maybe. This is like pretty ideal heroes to have the puck. You get the range of initiation to add into an IO, you have the Sven to set up, or Thug in his own right, just like no one. Pretty great puck player. And silence up against the Timbersaw Terrorblade. If they want to go for this like early, like, beat out this Terrorblade Timbersaw, you know, and try and like push our aggression and everything, I think it would work. But it's also, of course, as we've talked about lately, scary. Lacking that scaling capabilities you look for in your mid stages.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I think as long as Vega can get another hero to synergize with the push, this Terrorblade timing should be pretty scary. They take the Shadow Demon. Okay.
team
Talked about Shadow Demon a lot today as well as yesterday in the opening stages of these playoffs, but we haven't actually seen Shadow Demon played, maybe banned once or twice. I do like it here. Some nice setup and synergy with the Timber Saw allows you to make some extra illusions of the Terror Blade and Soul Catcher, a good spell to help you deal with somebody like Sven. They have quite a bit of physical damage right now, so that Soul Catcher will make him look way more squishy than usual.
This is a fantastic Shadow Demon game. It's actually so good. It's just like up against a Life Stealer. You're going to have this Purge here to throw up on top of Sven, so try and kite him around during those fights, particularly during God Strength, right? If he can't get those right clicks off, and right after he jumps in with a Storm Hammer, if you can stop him from closing in any further on those targets, it's you got the saving potential up against the Beastmaster Roar, so you can just a little disruption onto that target that gets gone on top of. All around just great. Again, that Soul Catcher too, trying to burst down the IO right away during the team fights, or just the heavy through Ben. It's just all around. I'm loving it, man.
Yeah,
really good. And disrupt again, you know, for his own team, disruption on top of the Terror Blade for additional disruption on a graved target. Much better than this.
Yeah, we were talking about reset, and that's another ability to try to keep that Terror Blade alive. Now, here we go. Change of pace from Finem, doing something completely different. Silencer really has not been getting much love recently, and they're going to have a go with him here. This is a great tool to try to handle the Terror Blade. We were talking about ways of shutting him down so he can't get the Sunder. Slark is a possible carry option because he can go into that untargetable Shadow Dance state. Silencer, hey, Global Silence, sit far back. That is one way to ensure he does not get Sunder off, but I feel like this is a pretty risky pick.
It can be for sure. We did just see one of those other kind of classic riskier picks when it comes to that kind of 4-role support in the Shadow Shaman, so Finem can make it work for themselves this game, but as expected by Puck, it just synergizes way too well with this lineup. There's no way you let that one through, and then that leaves Thug with one of the more classic picks in the Queen of Pain, which probably is more ideal hero overall. Just that control element could be an issue, but that big damage, like if you're trying to nuke during Global Silence, Queen could be the answer.
Yeah, it gives you some nice pure damage, not so upset about the reactive armor from Timber Saw. Also, just having that burst damage against Terror Blade is pretty good. Another way of trying to shut him down before he can get off that Sunder. Also, the Silencer, very good against Dazzle and Shadow Demon. Their reset tool's not going to be so easy to execute. Now that they have to deal with the Global Silence, no way the Dazzle can really deal with that effectively. What do Finem want to do with their final ban? Probably looking for an offlaner, though it is a little bit open-ended for Vega. They could always do the switcheroo and offlane the Timber Saw, though I don't think it's very likely. What do you ban out here? Maybe the Tide Hunter?
Yeah, I think Tide's the way to go. Just a classic counter versus the IO +1. Again, another reset option that they might be able to get off. And so now we get the Slider gone. Thug can either go for that Queen or that Invoker. Both very good, of course. Beastmaster, IO, Global Potential, Invoker. Very good. What about like a Quaswex Invoker? Pretty good. You know, Alacrity on your Sven. A little bit more control here, kind of similar to what a Puck would have provided.
Yeah, I'm usually not that big a fan of the Quaswex Invokers. It feels like they're just so hard to transition. Like you get an edge early on, but then you kind of fall off pretty quickly. And if you get ganked a couple of times, then that road to recovery is pretty tough compared to something like an Exort Invoker who can always recover with his Midas, hit those Sunstrike kills from around the map, and get his snowball going that way. But they could try it. What else besides the Queen of Pain?
There's also Ember too, but it's kind of iffy. It gives you some options in terms of like being up against a Terror Blade. There, if he mantas and then you get it off, and like, oh, I got your illusions, but not as big as a counter as I think it's sometimes made out to be.
Yeah, I mean they could do something crazy like a TA, just go raw damage, control the Roche Pit.
They have no stuns for an Ember.
Try and run him down. Yeah, I mean Ember Madara is definitely a thing. Could set this up with Sven IO mid, safe lane Ember Silencer, off lane Beastmaster / jungle with the Iron Talon. They take the Invoker. Okay, now the question, is it Quaswex or is it Exort?
Yeah, it could depend on what they end up here.
Yeah, that's true.
Vega Squadron.
Very true. Vega's final pick. Again, likely to be the offlaner, if not the Tide Hunter. They could be Clockwork.
Yeah, if not Tide, I guess Batrider's still there, but I don't really think he's lost energy here. The only real one would be like Metamorphosis to like right-click down a target, but there's no nuke or anything.
Oh my god, they take the Clockwork. Well, I was kind of being facetious there, but they take the long-range initiator. Mag saying, all right, I'm going to show you guys how to Clockwork.
He's the god.
Yeah. That's true. Mag Clockwork is one for the ages. We'll talk about it in a moment here, and we come back from our quick break.
Ten seconds remaining. 5
All right,
seconds
loading
remaining.
into game number 2 at Finem versus Vega, the Mag Clockwork. Can he get it done this game? I guess it is pretty good against a Wisp. You've got that scouting tool, so that's nice. With the Rocket Flare, a little bit of Roche control. Invoker will go first point Exort, so I guess that answers that question. Thug going for the damage build.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, I don't know. It's not really something that I would have seen here. But the Clockwork doesn't seem to have a lot of synergy. I can understand like trying to break up those ganks on the Terrorblade again, creating that space. Another like saving tool coming out here, but ProDotA is most played hero in competitive games, even more so than his Darkseer, his Batrider, his Beastmaster, all things that you just think of it being so synonymous. But it was that massive era. He wasn't playing Centaur Warbunner, he was playing Clockwork every game. So he'll do that once more. I'm just befuddled. I'm super hyped. I love seeing Clockwork coming back in. It didn't turn out too hot last game.
Yep, and oh boy, SEMA has the sick Dazzle set. This thing, we just take a moment to appreciate this set. You know, I never thought I'd see something that would trump the Pipe of Dezen, but this is one of the ultra rares, I think, from, oh god, I forget which chest it's from. It's pretty recent though. Yeah, April 2016. This thing is badass, dude. The face mask, look at him. He looks a little scary, but I still like it.
Yeah, where's the pipe at? I mean, I think you still need the pipe though.
I'm a big fan of the pipe, but this thing really does look cool. I think it's got a sick attack animation as well. I think it changes a whole bunch of his stances and stuff. It's one of those crazy items that turns Dazzle into a dancing troll rather than just a pink fairy.
Does it make him a good hero though?
Yeah.
Unfortunately not.
Hello. He's always a good hero. What are you doing, Trent? What are you doing to yourself? You know, we also didn't talk about it, but the Dazzle Shadow Demon combo is pretty good. Shadow Priest, Shadow Demon, get the disruption, instant heal bomb on those illusions. It's pretty cheesy in the lane. Actually, it's a pretty good way to burst people down in those early levels.
Yeah, man, that's been gone for so long. It's not even like discussed anymore when you think of Dazzle combos. It's all about like Naga Siren mirror images or something, or the Lycan Wolves when you come to the heal bombs. But he's back, baby. Solo getting rocking at this game, but Shadow Demon been making an appearance in quite a few games lately.
Yep.
Like, not quite sure what he wants here. He's like, what are you doing? You coming up here? All right, I'm gonna farm. That's good.
Yeah, there's kind of this weird stalemate here brewing around the mid lane. Actually, both supports for Ad Finem behind the Invoker. That means FN just free farming away down bottom. It's actually the Beastmaster who's jungling nearby. They will have their other support up top. They get a stun onto Mag. And uh-oh, this Clockwork could already be in a world of hurt. He's got the power cogs. He'll survive for now, but does get zoned out pretty far. He doesn't have that much regen. 2 more tangos and 1 healing salve, and he'll have to salve up pretty soon. Gets off the cogs, and that will zone back the Wisp. But what's the exit strategy here? He is going to use the salve. An awkward movement. Meanwhile, on the other side of it, Solo going in onto Skylark. They knew that he was farming there, and he'll go intercept some of that XP. This is crazy. This is just 4 heroes right now completely zoning each other out, not even touching the lanes.
Yeah, this is really odd. Skylark's like down, running from the surgeon under his tower, illusion of himself. Thank you, Solo. But zoning Beastmaster out is pretty huge. Zoning Clockwork out is pretty huge. So both offliners not having the best time. Fortunately for Ad Finem, one of them is a Beastmaster with an Iron Talent, and the other is a Clockwork with a Snout Shield. So Mag will make his way back slowly but surely. I'm sure Silencer should be coming over to cut this off right about now.
Nope, just gonna let him walk on over. Okay.
Mag correctly.
Look at this, Solo. He's gonna block out this camp. They want to try to cripple this Beastmaster as best they can. They're gonna at least force him onto the other side of the map. Now he's jungling alongside of the Wisp, doing this kind of sharing is caring type strategy. Solo also
stack off.
Getting a ward behind the tower. He gets it.
All right,
very nice.
Played.
But a very aggressive ward placement here. Definitely a sign that Vega are gonna bring the heat and put a lot of pressure on this mid lane. Already 2 heroes wrapping around. Solo looking to set up onto Thug. He drops a Forge Spirit. Dazzle going to be nearby. Heal Bomb inbound. Oh, Thug down to 50% HP straight away. Now no one ready to follow up. Whirling Death next to the trees. This should be your first blood. No point in Wex, no Ghost Walk to get away. And no one will get credit for that first blood kill. Who better than the Timbersaw to get that bonus money?
Yeah, that's perfect for Vega. No tether available thanks to the fact that Spartan's just helping Skylark do his jungling here. Can't quite get the save off on him, so Thug gonna have a bit of a rough start here, and no one getting that boost up into the earlier Bloodstone. And now this lane becomes great for him. Like, already having that 4-man shield, he's got the reactive armor, it's very difficult to do anything. Even with the Forest Spirits, having this full level advantage now, it's gonna need a little bit of help, but as we're seeing, Spartan's kind of busy. He's doing his own little farming thing in the jungle.
Yeah, he sure is. I mean, it is important for Wisp to get level 6. He also doesn't have a bottle yet, so you do want to prioritize some farm on him to get that big regeneration piece, but this is slow going. Is able to do some damage to these creeps, but it's a lot of return damage. 0 armor, it's a tough life for a little energy ball. A humble level 1 solo, maybe looking for a courier snipe here. He saw it come in, they've got the vision. Take a look at Radiant, they move it, very smart.
Man, Courier's just dodging everything today, except not in the mid game. I feel like we lost a lot of mid game Couriers.
We did, we saw a lot of
but...
Couriers go down in that last game. Disruption. Gonna slow down Skylark, second stack of Shadow Poison.
Close.
Woo!
Almost didn't get the big creep.
He did buy all of his stuff, suicides into the small ones.
A little bit too late there for maybe next time, but the fact that they brought the supports back up and forcing Meg into that, pretty important here for the side of Finem. But that's one of the reasons why Thug's time is going so bad, is just because Meg was forced silencer to always be up top, couldn't come in with like decent right clicks that we get from that hero. Deny themselves all over the map here.
Yep, Solo also taking that first class ticket right back to the well. Picks up his items before he dies. Madara.
How about the Spartan 2 maybe in a second?
Oh. Where is he?
Oh, he's just suiciding up top in a moment. I think once he runs out of mana from IO balls, it'll just be another death.
He almost has his bottle money. This is working out okay. I think it's okay for the Wisp to kind of do this as long as he's getting something out of it. Down bottom, the push begins for Vega. Metamorphosis with the 2 supports. Easy tower, 5-minute mark, right on the dot. It's like clockwork. Oh, God.
What a card, this guy. Ha ha ha. Oh. That was super solid. I mean, great stuff there. Maybe next time coming on down, level 3 silencer, throwing that. Oh, look at that wave, come on. And a glyph. That is some hype play right there.
This is good stuff. I mean, this is super methodical play from Vega, but they're reaping the benefits. Like, the Terrorblade is scary to have against Sven. Madara will just go armlet first item, not an HOD or anything too crazy like that, but Terrorblade is just more of a general threat than the Sven, at least earlier on. And they're going to have to defend against these sieges, and Sven's not really going to be in fighting shape. I guess the nature of the Wisp means he'll be able to farm while that's happening, get those relocates, try to find the right angles to initiate, but I just foresee the next 5 to 10 minutes, kind of a tricky time for him, where he's not really online, ready to fight yet, and Vega are bringing the heat. We'll see the 2 supports smoking the mid lane.
Top lane.
Uh-oh, they're going to go in onto Mag, and we're going to go back mid. Here comes the smoke setup. Disruption, heal bomb on the way, and oh my, that Invoker. Not even a chance to react. They do go 1 for 1 around the map, though. It's like Madara set up a nice stun. Easy kill on the clockwork.
And I think, despite it being like mid-offlaner, I don't think it's that bad for Finem, simply because I foresee Vega's game going similar to how Finem's did last time. Where, yes, they have this Terrorblade, and yes, he's doing pretty well in terms of overall gold and everything, but he needs a supporting cast to actually do stuff. He needs this Timbersaw to be online, he needs this Clockwork to be online, and Meg is just not going to be there. He's still level 4.5, and closing in 6.5 minutes here. Iron Taloning a jungle with Battery Assault level 2, this is just very delayed. No one's getting that boot mid lane with the second kill here, but overall net worth, it's not like he's massively ahead. I guess he is about 300 gold over Sven, so I'll take it back a little bit here. It's just Timbersaw needs so much.
I think he is doing well enough, though. You look at the Invoker. Thug is in Strug City. He's 0-2. He's going to get roamed on again. This skill bomb is going to do an absurd amount of damage. He queues up a Sunstrike, but it doesn't matter at all. That's 3 deaths on him now. Timbersaw, #1 on net worth. And they might just transition this into a tower push of their own. I mean, Vega starting to open up this map a little bit. If they can take out this tier 1 tower, they'll be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, okay. that is an issue, because he's getting tri-lane mid, but like, what's the benefit from Finem in some of these other scenarios? They killed the Clockwork, he's in the jungle. They're pushing top lane, but there's no like major stacks happening quite yet. They're getting them lined up on the Ancients here. It's just until those come online, that Blink Dagger, Armlet, Echo Saber, that trio that they really need on Madara is pretty far away. Solo comes in, Disruption.
Spartan.
No one else can follow him.
Getting a little bit aggressive here. They're just going to back out. I mean, think of it this way, right? The Clockwork is about equally farmed as the Beastmaster. Very similar amount of experience, comparable net worth. FN actually caught by a Sunstrike mid, but will it matter? He does not have a Sunder, though he is level 7. They're going to keep him alive for now. Sayoma with a 1-1-3 build. I want to see him use Poison Touch. It looks like it looks different. And I'm so excited about this set. I can't wait to see the weave in action, man. I don't even know if the weave's different. I'm just hoping. I'm just hoping that this set completely changes the hero. No, but the offlaners are doing pretty much the same, and that's a jungling Beastmaster with Iron Talon. This guy is supposed to be so much faster in that scenario. You would expect him to pull way ahead of the Clockwork, and just the fact that Mag's able to kind of keep tempo. He's just now about to hit level 6. I think you could call this at least a minor victory for Vega, aside from all of the other obvious victories they found in the lanes.
For sure. I would expect him to be up like next to the Sven pretty much at this point, honestly.
Yeah.
You look at Bulldog and everything he achieves every single time with this, that first rotation with the 6, and tempting to come out here, but he's so alone. Like, he doesn't have a Necro. I'm not sure. I don't think Sunstrike's going to be enough. I guess if he finds FN right now, it would be. But Hawk just going the wrong direction.
Yeah. This is an unfortunate rotation. He is going to have that Necronomicon before too long. Maybe he'll find Sayoma, but he just TP's out. Dazzle will be just fine. All right, failed smoke from the Beastmaster. Big Ancient stack, though, from Sven. Not the triple stack. Decent Ancient stack. Pops the God Strength, gets the armlet up. At least they're still managing their Ancients. That pushes him back to #1 on net worth. But all the while, Vega grouped up in the top lane. Looks like they may pressure this tower. The only one not with him is the Terrorblade. And speak of the devil, he'll get initiated on mid lane. Relocate, catches him off guard. Sunstrike flies in. Sven will get credit for that kill. That's the setup they got to find.
Yeah, and talking about this supporting cast too, where he does need some help. When you look at no one, the fact that they tri-lane mid is actually pretty sick, because he was able to go 1-4-2. So he didn't have to go for these points in the Whirling Death to try and like win his lane mid versus a more difficult matchup with the Invoker. So now his actual fight potential is much higher right now than it typically would be as a Timbersaw, and hopefully they can actually abuse that, but Finem able to dodge it just by using these relocate ganks, and bottom tower down. Mid tower probably be their next focus, so they're trading very well across the map, and again, it is something Finem have done a fantastic job on as of late, and already the net worth graph through the Ancients and that kill starting to come back down to 0.
Exactly. Between the Ancients, the kill, the tower trading, they're looking to be in good shape. Now the level 1 Necro Book is out. Invoker still very far away from his Hand of Midas. He does have the gloves on the Courier, so not quite as bad as I thought, but still 1,000 gold to go. We're 10 minutes in. You'd like to have that Midas a couple minutes ago in a normal game where you're finding Sunstrike kills and able to farm safely in lane. So this is going to slow down the overall progression of Ad Finem. Beastmaster still looking for opportunities to gank. He's gone for this Inner Beast build with no points in Wild Axes. So really wants to try to make something happen now that he's got these extra units. Maybe this is the opportunity. Mag,
this is a really
inbound,
nice
double fours, Necronomicon, Sunstrike after the Primal Roar. He's out of mana. Even a global silence used for this. Mag almost lives through it. It's actually damn close. Now FN comes in, wants to try to turn it around, and the Beastmaster will TP out. It's a successful gank, but that was pretty stressful. That was a close call, not the clean kill they were really looking for.
It was, but they will get easier and easier from here on out for Finem for sure. And that kill just coming at the cost of this draft from Vega in some ways. Like, you could look at the overall map pressure that was coming in from Finem there, and they pretty much had this much map like to themselves. This was all Finem territory. All this scribbling. So he's able to sit on that high ground, wait for something to happen. They can push out a little bit now. But now, right again, bottom, relocate. This is the punishment. This is what happens. You come into our jungle.
Oh boy.
Dire territory now.
Thought he was just farming safely, but you're right. Just too far forward in the lane. Nowhere to TP to. This is good stuff for Ad Finem. This is exactly how you want to play the Wisp. Hit level 6, be that taxi service for your spend, enhance his farm, and find pickoffs here and there. Now he's going to have the Echo Saber on the way. We were talking about Tiny earlier, really benefiting from that item. Sven, another hero that makes a lot of use out of it with the God Strength. It gives him an absurd amount of burst damage to start off fights. And especially in a game like this, when you have a Wisp, you don't have to rush the Blink Dagger. He knows he can start off fights in a relatively good position. I really like this choice here. Very standard, but still good stuff for the Sven.
Yeah, it's all looking uphill right now for Finem. Question is, how are Vega going to try and like gain some more control of this game and try and fight on back? Dragonlance, you know, a little bit more damage on FN. I think it would have to be some sort of a smoke play, but again, the Shadow Demon Dazzle, not exactly the best combination when it comes to the timing here. They look to pair up with someone, no one, but they don't have this roar, you know? They have a setup, I suppose, in some ways with the disruption, but of course it does give time to react. Okay.
Yeah, I think this is definitely one of the more difficult windows for Vega. You know, they already passed that point where the Terror Blade is really peaking, can easily knock down towers. He's still strong right now, but the Sven is stronger, simply put. Now that he's got these kind of core items, they can't just run into these tier 2 towers, close their eyes, and hope to knock them down. So they just need to farm through this, work on that Bloodstone. It just got completed on no one. And, you know, wait for the enemies to come to them a little bit. I think Vega could set a trap, try to utilize the clockwork. He's going to go a Drum of Endurance build. He's picked up the recipe already, so not going to rush the Blade Mail, but hookshot is one of their key ways to initiate these fights, and if they could get a catch...
Look at Skylark. Look how aggressive he's being.
I mean, they've got to relocate ready. It's a level 2 Necro book also.
For a moment. Right next to a Shadow Demon and Timbersaw just showing no fear here.
You know, Necro Book 3, going to come out at a pretty standard time. I feel like Skylark has recovered quite well. Look how much he's pulled ahead of the clockwork. It's incredible how much this hero changes once his ult comes online.
Yeah, and Mag 030. I mean, that's all that needs to be said when it's a clockwork, right? This just, you can't do anything. You can't farm. Even when you do well in the early games of clockwork, this can be a little bit more of a disappointment. Like, you can get into a point where you just end up not scaling any further because you can't kill creeps very fast, you don't have good flash farming capabilities, you have a Terror Blade sucking up the map, and only 14 minutes when this is happening. This is supposed to happen to you at like 25 or 30 when you have like a Force Staff and Blade Mail or something in your AOK for the next 15 minutes. But currently Tranquil Boots and building into what appears to be, yeah, a drum. I don't know, Meg. So far from being relevant.
I don't know what you're supposed to do with this hero right now. I just don't know how you make it work. Unless you're in a one-on-one matchup and the enemies just let you kind of free farm, that's one thing. But the way the offlane goes right now, I don't know what more Mag could have done, really. I mean, you can't even say he should have played more defensively in lane because then he would have just been equally under-leveled. You know, Clockwork's one of those heroes that has to take that kind of positioning risk to ensure that he gets some experience, a little bit of farm. Looking for an opportunity here. Vega are smoked up. They put a ward down in the mid lane. They've got 3 ready to wrap around, but Wisp, visibility rune in the bottle. Timber chain forward. Could relocate out to save Madara if need be. Hook shot in from Mag. There's the relocate. Does he bring him back? That's the question. I reckon you let him stay here, right?
Oh yeah, I think you just sacked your IO. He's gonna come and try and give him a tether target though.
Yep. Instant disruption, nicely done by Solo. Now he tethers away. Almost sets it up for Spartan. The Timber Chain's going to be off the mark, and they get out of it scot-free. Nicely done. It's a
no
wasted smoke for Vega.
Don't have any lockdown without the hook shot.
Yeah, and he used the hook shot to start off that fight. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Thug trying to do a little bit of split push, putting some damage into that tier 2. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Skylark doing the same. No one looking to fight, takes a primal roar, and Skylark will just TP back to safety. Throw unit's about to expire. He might be able to grab one here, and he gets both. Okay.
FN, dead. Just
yeah, they
jump on top of the blink, man, and the saves aren't there with the global silence.
Wow.
You do. It's not even that exciting. It's like he just jumps on top and Shadow Demon and Dazzle and Clock just all watch helplessly.
Yeah, Silencer proving to be a pretty good pick here. We'll see no one now initiated on. Oh god, that damage from the Echo Saber. There's a Blink Dagger now up on the Sven. And Mag will get his drums. This is a really strange game for Vega. It's ended up being a very quiet early game. 8 kills in about 16 minutes. Both sides been relatively defensive, but Ad Finem really pulling ahead now. 5k net worth, 7,500 experience is their favor. The lead here for Sven is just continuing to grow. He's got another 1,500 gold, and he just picked up this Blink Dagger.
Well, I'll be looking into, I guess, the BKB next, just to make everything secure and safe up against this Clockwork, make sure things don't go too wrong for them. Sioma gonna run into Thug, but Tornado so short. Plus Exort Invoker, so he'll waddle himself away.
Yeah, almost loses his haste rune there, but he'll be alright. BOT's now up on the Timber Saw. See, last game we were talking about Timbersaw builds, and we were remarking how pipe into Lotus Orb seems kind of weird. This is the much more standard style of Timbersaw, where you just go Bloodstone straight into BOTs, get that mobility piece, not only so you can TP around lanes and find farm, but also just so you can chase people down. Timber Chain's a great tool, but being able to close the gap on foot to get off Whirling Death, close the gap for Chakram, it's just a hero that benefits from that kind of movement speed in general. I think this build is definitely more standard.
I don't know. I'm not really digging it. I don't really see what this is gonna do. I feel like he's just gonna get roared and die. I feel like even a Ghost Scepter would be better in this game. But just something that he can just pop and
the
live.
ideal target to get roared? Like, if you had to pick one on the side of Vega, definitely not Terrorblade. Ideally Clockwork, hook shots in. Maybe he gets roared after that. That's sort of okay. They'll go up onto Thug here. Ghost Walk and have an Invoke in 1 second. Gets the Ghost Walk off, but it's not going to matter. They've got the detection and plenty of damage. They will have overhand over Roche.
It's like, you're gonna get roared because there's no Blink Dagger on a Beastmaster. Generally, you're gonna see him first. And
right.
I don't know. I feel like there's moments where like a Ghost Scepter could get off here to save him from something like this relocate. You know they're coming in. Those kind of plays. I'm not really sure what this is gonna do.
I mean, I think the Ghost Scepter is good. I don't disagree with that part, but I don't really think BOTs is bad either.
Or even a Yule's too, to like cancel out this global silence. Like, I'm not seeing the bots here. Yep. If it's enough that he can live and move around the map and get the farm up into those additional items, of course that's going to be very good for sure. And that's what they do have to do, because it is a Quas Exort Invoker and a Beastmaster who are just crushing these side lanes. So
he might go for the Yules next. It's a really good utility item to have against the Wisp to try to isolate the partners, stop the Wisp from dumping healing into someone. A lot of things you can do with that. Also great against the global silence, as you were mentioning.
I think Lotus is better though.
This game?
Yeah. Just because of the Sven, because of the roar, the lower. I believe it has a lower cooldown overall, like a downtime.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I could see it. There is a lot to get rid of this game. That's fair enough. You just have to remember the Lotus Orb isn't always about reflection, but also just about having a purge, having a free Abaddon shield to put on someone.
Yeah.
Here we go. Add Finem, split pushing down bottom. They've got the Beastmaster. Necronomicon out. Inner Beast will do a lot of damage here. God's Strength used by the Sven. Tier 2 tower up top, falling pretty quickly. FN will linger around as the Metamorphosis hero. Trying to finish it off. Tier 3 tower falls. Now no one gets initiated on. Stun. Oh my god. You might have been right here, Trent. He just got obliterated under all those stuns. Now FN taking a lot of damage from the Sven. Might still be able to get off the Sunder. They're starting to make the retreat. Global Silence comes out. Madara doesn't have a blink for another 8 seconds, but he does still have the Aegis, and it looks like Ad Finem will just get away with this. The ranged barracks still standing, but they get the melee and only lose their tier 2 up top. Great trade for the Dire.
Yeah, I think they'll be happy about this one, and managing to hold on to that Aegis too, so quite a bit of time to work with, and they can probably close out that tier 2 mid, I would say, relatively safely, unless there's another big position. I don't know, maybe you call that an error from Vega, being able to get a free melee racks like that, so I'm assuming they'll be able to shore that their defenses up a bit here and just concede the mid.
Oh, relocate out. They're going to go on to Mag in the top lane, but they're going to set up here to bring down the Wisp as soon as he comes back. He actually brings Madara with him. Why did he bring Madara with him?
I guess they don't have vision, so I thought they were safe.
Does have the Aegis. Maybe they can take a fight here. Maybe it was all part of the plan. Madara gets a stun onto Solo. Shallow Grave, no TP or anything on the Shadow Demon, so just going to buy him a little bit of time. Cold Snap. Gonna stop him from doing much else. Primal Roar now onto the Dazzle. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, they saw them coming when they relocated out, so sort of safe to assume that they saw it. But with the Aegis to the Immortal, that's not a bad way to use it. It didn't have too much time left, about 90 seconds. Forced them to commit. It does set up for 2 more kills, and now the supports are out of the game for 15 seconds. They're just gonna go right for the high ground.
Yeah, no, it's good. Clear out this tower, and yeah, I think you're right. Just the fact that they were close nearby, they might have thought that the supporting cast would be there sooner from like Thug and Skylark. They got there a little bit like post Aegis. Maybe they thought they could save it, but in the end, works out for them. And positive, there wasn't much time left on the Aegis anyway, so all they wanted with that Aegis, and that's that mid tower.
Yep, not going to be able to go high ground, sort of as I was thinking, but they will just knock down that last outer tier 2, and Vega will be forced to push out of their base. 5-9 in 22 minutes. It's been slow, but it's a steady lead now for Ad Finem, about 12k net worth and experience. is their favor. Any other big items popping into those inventories? Silencer did go back for a Hand of Midas. Double Force Staff. This is a blast from the past on the Invoker. You don't see him go Force Staff that often, but we've talked about it. Against the Clockwork, it's what you got to do. It is the counter to that hero. So not surprised to see 2 Force Staves, hell, maybe even 3 come out.
Yeah, no, definitely the build here for them. Both sense, because Clockwork, even when you're irrelevant in terms of items, of course, cogs can be pretty annoying. They still just die.
Here we go. Initiation onto Mag. Follow-up stuns. Global Silence comes out, and Vega in a lot of trouble. Sayoma taking heavy damage. He will get off the shallow grave. TP will actually make it out. Now the rest of the team, they follow suit. Not as detrimental as it first seemed. Add Finem, trade 1 for 2. They lose their Invoker. They don't defend the tier 2. But Vega actually get out of dodge pretty effectively. I didn't think that Dazzle TP was actually going to work, but they didn't have any interrupts left.
Yeah, they get a little bit of gold stacked up on top of that Terrorblade too. Maybe help them get into some bigger items. It's kind of at a mid-range point here. Oh, spent 2,400, so... Oh, 21, so that'll be the ultimate orb for FN. To a Scotty here. He's getting there, trying to become that terrifying hero we've seen so lately.
Yep. So a while before Roche comes up. Adfin, I'm just going to go back to farming. Sven with a full Daedalus now. And of course that Blink Dagger on Beastmaster has been up, and he moves into a Vladimir's Offering next up.
Full faith in the Spartan here, eh? And just going right into maximum damage with the Hyperstone. Madara is ready to click, cleave, and absolutely crush the side of Vega with the 0 defensive item of his own.
Yeah, I guess just Assault Karas coming out next for him. Make the siege that much easier. And as we've talked about, a lot of synergy with the Beastmaster, more attack speed for the team, lower armors for the enemy. Pretty basic stuff. Force Stabs now coming out for Vega. That's going to be Solo's first item. He's gone for movement speed mostly, but now moving into Force Staff.
I was about to say, I don't feel like Solo's had that, my Solo gaming, man. I praise this guy all the time. You know, like, people ask me, who's an underrated player? I say Solo. I think he's one of the best, like, mechanical and gameplay fours that are currently in the scene right now, but game like this, it's pretty hard to get stuff done. Just really have an opportunity in that early game, but they did crush mid, I suppose, so there was that.
Bite gonna break out here. They start on the Mag. Follow-up stun from Madara, but it's gonna get messed up by the disruption. Wisp will actually die first, but the rest of their team starting to just melt under the pressure. Madara gets turned on. It's actually looking pretty good for Vega. Now Thug gonna be slowed down. Do they have any detection? I don't see it yet. Timbersaw still jumping around. Silence, but soon gonna have a little more. He's light on mana. That's the big problem. If he hits his chakra, maybe they can get him, and they will. Silencer falls. Another nice defensive disruption. 2 for 3 is Vega. Take the fight. Now they go high ground. Is this actually a potential turn?
It's a Terrorblade winning a fight near your base. It's a potential win in any game, honestly.
Yeah, you make a good point. He's got the Metamorphosis on for about quarter duration. Here comes the Glyph. Timbersaw going in fierce, doing what damage he can. No buyback's been used by Ad Finem quite yet, but Sven, he's coming up in 20. He's the only one with buyback money. Without a Glyph, they'll definitely lose a tier 3 tower here. Some of them had to go back. They lost their range barracks just to the creep spread. Invoker out of this game now for 40 seconds. No buyback, so close to respawn, and it's probably not going to save the melee barracks anyhow. Oh my, this hurts so much for Sven. Solo may get left behind. They're going to get 1 recovery kill. They find any more. FN on the way out, does have a TP scroll. Relocate outside of the base. Madara looking for the stun. Hawk flying overhead. Big FN dies here. He gets caught by a crit. The Echo Saber. Sven will bring him down. But all things considered, Vega got to be happy with that. They force a buyback from the Sven. They get a tier 3 and a barracks. And in the end, they only lose 2. Game just got leveled out.
I don't think he loses much because it was, you know, so close to him respawning. He doesn't even have the penalty cost when he actually gets the kill, so that's pretty handy for him. He still lost, I think, 300 gold in total after the kill.
Yeah.
So worth it to clean up those kills, but again, as you said, definitely worth it here for the side of Vega. Looking very nice.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate that Sven had to buy back though. He was like what, 8 seconds from respawn, 10 seconds, something like that. It was super close. And if he had bought back earlier, he could have delayed that push and probably saved the melee barracks. Saving it, that indecision cost them quite a bit. That's hard.
Madara, though, I mean, still definitely in FNM's hands here. Really question that. It's still actually, wow, it's only 5K. Okay, I'm impressed. I know that no one has been kind of with these boots of travel, of course, being able to farm over the entire map and doing a very good job of it, not being punished at all by the side of Finem. They're kind of focusing more so on maybe that Radiant side and
yeah. How you feeling about those boots of travel now, son?
I'm thinking like they didn't get punished except for that. I mean, hey, they lost bottom racks because of boot travel. I'll just say that.
Yeah, well, they got top racks because of boots of travel. How's that? I like those apples.
I like them apples. Yeah.
Dude, Shadow Demon is working on an Aghanims, and that's actually going to be devastating. He's still pretty far away, has the point booster, a quote-unquote casual point booster for now. Good fuck.
Yeah, oh, yeah, Solo actually crushed that fight up top, too. He nailed his Soul Catcher, got the Purge off, hit your Shadow Poisons, too, and I was just kind of saying I was disappointed. Solo, you're back in my good graces, dude. You did it. Well done. And he did crush mid, too. I should say, like, they did try lane mid and totally own that Evoker, or else this game would be way more out of hand. For the side of Finem, they'd just be, like, totally dumpstering.
Yeah, smoke rotation. Finem on the way. Vega on the other side of the jungle. Ping's coming out like crazy. Dire have wards down, so they saw this movement. They used their scan earlier.
Oh, this is scary. This hook could be huge.
Yep. Here we go. Defensive disruption out of the gate. Sven with the war cry. Solo able to force staff back. There's the global, but it comes out way too early. Vega just disengaged, and they should be able to reset this fight. Who's going to go where? Madara gets hook shotted in.
Oh, nice relocate.
Yep, relocate will save him. Beastmaster actually falls. And they're probably just going to get a kill on the Wisp. Nowhere for Spartan to go. Nice use of the cogs there. So it's a 2-0. I think that fight really just comes down to the global silence being used in a pretty lackluster manner. We talked about how important the silencer is to stop the reset tools, the shallow graves, the disruptions, the sunders. When you use it like that, very easy for Vega to commit hard into the fight because they know they can save that Terrorblade almost no matter what. And now they just move into the Roche pit. It doesn't look like Finem will be able to contest it. They're going to try to go high ground instead. Solo with a great disruption. Keeps himself safe from the stun. Actually dodges the Sunstrike too. And now they should be able to get a nice easy Roche while Solo makes space at the base.
Yeah, Solo somehow not dying too, which is rather hilarious. Get a counter kill here. Oh, that was close. The Thug almost got hook shot there, but again, no detection, so he just ghost walk away. Yeah,
they leave FN and Sayoma to finish off Roche, so that's an Aegis now that goes the way of the Terrorblade. And looks like it'll disengage there. Yeah, very impressive hold from Solo. He mitigated a lot of damage. If that Sven stun connects, he dies. If that Sunstrike connects, he's at least pretty low and scared. And manages to dodge both of them and just repel 2 scary core heroes without taking any damage on the tier 3. That was really impressive. Just Solo things.
Yeah, and now with the Roche taking it, it's creeping and crawling, man. It's coming back to 0. Man, Vega, Dota. Only lane racks, of course, once again for both sides now. Neither one really hurting. Sven on one end, Person and Terrorblade on the other.
Yep.
Next fight, gonna be massive. You gotta give the edge, though, to Finem. Didn't work out last time, but every single one of these big late game team fights, it always comes down to vision, and having the Beastmaster on your team can never be did. Much harder to do the same thing here with the Flayers of Clockwork.
I'll be honest, I think the deal breaker is going to be this Timbersaw Aghanims. If they manage to pick a fight before he farms another 500 gold, I'd give the edge to Finem, but once no one gets the Ags, his damage output will go up a lot. They're already having trouble dealing with this Timbersaw now that he's got Bloodstone with 16 charges and a Shiva's. Having double Chakram not only means more damage, but it's more slow for the Timbersaw the Terrorblade to get in those right clicks, the hook shots to come out. Hook shots. How is Mag? He's going to work on an Ags himself, and he's only 1,300 gold away. I mean, if Clockwork can get that big item, Drum, Force Staff, Ags, he'll be pretty tanky and bounce around the fight pretty effectively with that super short hook shot cooldown.
Yeah, it's a hard game to itemize for Mag, I feel like. I'm sure when he looks at the enemy lineup, his hopes and dreams are of a Blade Mail, but he is lacking so much control in this team. With the Shadow Demon and the Dazzle, in terms of like stuns that are going to help hold people in place while damage can actually be dealt to them, it's completely reliant on him. He needs to set up here for no one. He needs to set up here for the Terrorblade coming out here from FN. So it's just all like, I need to go into this Aghanim Scepter. I can't be just dying at the start of a fight to spend to tank like 1,800 damage on top of him, because he could, right? I mean, through the spend, the amount of damage he would be opening on him ridiculous with the Blade Mail. Maybe he can get it after, but for now, multiple hooks are more important.
BKB on Terrorblade. They've got a lot of time on this Aegis, a Manta style, a Scotty, and now a fresh BKB. This is the time for Vega to strike. They've got a lot of fresh items here. As soon as that Ags comes, ours she blows. Ahoy matey. I think they need to group up, take out this tier 2 tower down bottom, then go fishing towards that high ground.
Oh, that flare, it spotted out. Skylark, run! Alright, I
think he's good.
Okay.
But yeah, that is pretty scary when you see that Timbersaw making that face like, gotcha, I'm a-coming.
Man, speaking of faces, his like little HUD thing is fine right now with the set. Hair, man.
Yeah, this is a pretty scary set. I recognize it from somewhere. Oh, he's got the Immortal Claw. I forgot about that thing. It's a glow stick. Yeah, these new Immortals, so glowy.
They're still down here. I guess he's not going to cut the wave though. Too scared. A little bit
Dude,
too
look
close
at
for him.
Finem. They are not planning on defending. They are going straight for the enemy base in both lanes. They are going to start to TP back. Oh no, Vega. They got baited into
this
it.
is nice.
A lot of TPs back. Maybe they can make a catch here. The disruption flying across, chasing Madara. Now the Wisp going to try to TP out. It's going to be close. They've got the damage. The Wisp gets popped, and he's going to die without buyback. Now the hook shot in onto Madara. He's completely isolated without his Wisp, and just look how fast the Terrorblade chunks him down. He's going to charge straight towards the base with Metamorphosis on. Well, it does work out okay for Vega in the end, though I thought they got juked at first. They could have just gone straight for the base, but they did TP back, and they make the right call.
Yeah, I think that was the right call. I mean, they're so quickly up that mid lane, too. Terrorblade doesn't even really matter. Yeah, sitting at the gates here, no IO to help out the Sven. Thug also caught out here by no one.
I don't think he has the detection, though. No, he certainly doesn't. And at this rate, you just want to turn, head back the other way, and try to get some more use out of this Metamorphosis. They still have some time left on it.
Alright, someone really needs carry detection in this game. So many times he's gotten away for free.
Yeah, but here we go, Objective Gaming. Metamorphosis almost done, but they'll get one more round of illusions. Look at how many Terrorblades are just knocking this tower down.
Skylark looking at Mag here. Oh, gets the bird. Nicely played.
Oh my. But still, this is just so easy for Vega. Those are just straight illusions doing all this siege damage. They've already forced out the glyph. They've already forced out a buyback. Now they just need to wait out Metamorphosis. It will be about 70 seconds. Here we go, right in onto Thug. Spartan as well. Global breaks up the fight, but there's just no follow-up. It's so defensive. FN stunned up. He'll be brought down right away. Meanwhile, in the back line, Skylark. Everyone's getting zoned out by Skylark, I guess. It was sort of a weird play. The rest of Finem have backed out. It's just an Aegis down, though. There's still a BKB and Sunder available. Necro units will manage to chase down the Shadow Demon on the way back line. Meanwhile, at the enemy base, Vega are continuing this siege. This is a really awkward, long, spread-out fight. It is working okay for Finem. They're holding on. And Vega will just back out after losing the Aegis like that. They don't want any more.
Ends up being a net positive there, of course, for the side of Finem, not just to the Aegis, but then getting that nice little kill off onto Solo. More gold going on to our Beastmaster, who, I don't know, he kind of went for like some value items. He didn't go into his own boots of travel, trying to keep up with the split push, which is, you know, pretty much hurting him because he's TPing basically every time it's off cooldown, right? He's hopping everywhere, but the refresher's further away thanks to the Vlads, and it's not going to scale too much harder here, at least for a while.
There's the Assault Cuirass on one Madara, so their pushing prowess gets a little more scary. Great team fighting item. Of course, Mag has his Aghanim Scepter. We saw it in that fight. Ian Greaves up on the Dazzle. 19 Bloodstone charges still on the Timbersaw.
What time did he have that Hyperstone, though? I mean, he has been stifled to all hell on Madara. The buyback, the deaths. I mean, he's only at 2 deaths, but you can really see the pain that he's gone through here.
Yeah, he had the Daedalus at like 24 minutes, and then it was a 10-minute window until he was able to get the Assault Cuirass. That's a pretty slow grind. Now a BKB up on the Invoker. That one will definitely help for Thug. I feel like Thug's had a lot of trouble getting his positioning right in these fights. It seems like more often than not these fights are, oh, Thug's caught out, oh, Ghost Walk on Thug. Like, he's always sort of pushed to the side, not able to get the perfect combos off to follow up with his Sven or Primal Roar. It's been a little while since Finem have had a good just Primal Roar, follow-up burst damage, clean kill. It's been much more spread out and chaotic in the last couple fights.
Yeah, a lot of his setup, though, relying on Mag and I guess being a single target, or rather, being on Skylark and being a single target initiator can be a little bit more difficult than something like a Tide Hunter. So Thug having to try and pick his places, and that force staff too maybe hurting him as well. Or he can't quite get those perfect blinks off, doesn't have any range, and is that the item?
It's a refresher orb on Silencer, Trent!
It's a Lotus Orb on Timbersaw.
No, no! The counter!
Only once though.
Only once, that's true. This is one of these scenarios, like right now I feel like Silencer has the power to win or lose this game for their team. Double global silence, like that debut before the enemy team knows that it's out. Like silence one, okay, they disengage, they go, oh, what an idiot, he used it too early. They go in hard, you refresh, you drop the silence again, and there's that moment of, oh shit, he's got the refresher. What do we do now? But once you use it, I mean, there's like a 2.5 minute window before you have double global again, and you kind of don't want to use that one when refresher's just about to come up. It's a big window where Vega could seize the day and try to make it happen. There's a lot of pressure on this global silence, I think, Trent.
There really is. It's huge. I mean, this is like game-winning potential right here. You think about back to TI5, the complexity, the refresher, Enigma, Z-Freak God. Maybe next guy could be the next one.
Here we go. Global number one on the back line. It's Skylark. He goes in hard. His team isn't ready for it, though, and it's just a dead Skylark. Awful positioning. Oh, no. Did he refresh yet? He has. He's used the second global. Oh, no. Vega just has to hang on, but Madara doing big damage. He gets a kill on the Clockwork, but now he falls. It's looking very bad for Finem. Vega still with most of their team alive and reasonably healthy. The Beastmaster will now buy back. Thug manages to survive. They still don't have detection, at least not on the Timbersaw. They can't bring him down. They don't have detection in general. No gem. They get the tier 3 tower, and now this Finem base is looking pretty wimpy. No tier 3 towers, just exposed barracks. No Sven for 70, no Wisp for 40.
And that is just another one fight near base. What it comes down to. Very well played here from the side of Vega, and they're going in on Thug. He's got the BKB, but he's trying to shrug it off. I don't know if they can hold this one. I don't think so without their Sven. Thank God in that last fight, man. He had a Cogs that completely saved FN, tanked a double crit that should have been for that Terrorblade, and they, I don't think, would have been able to get that Rex.
Thug almost dies here again. Another Ghost Walk. No one at this point. Just sell your Bloodstone and buy a gem, dude. That's going to be Megas, and I think that's game at Finem.
A lot of this comes back to those builds that came out here from, like, no one with that boot travel. Like, yes, it wasn't the best item for the time, but it was also not the item for losing. It was the item for winning, you know? Taking a risk, going for a build that's going to allow him to keep up the split push from the side of Admin and keep up their own net worth, eclipsing almost everyone but the Terrorblade here just at the end. Like, so close, and it's just extremely well played by him.
A good series overall. Another 2-0. Was definitely hoping for a third game, but well-deserved for Vega. They will be moving on to the next round of the upper bracket, where they have Team Alliance awaiting. Our semifinals for this 8-team double elim playoff will be Team Empire versus Liquid, and now Alliance versus Finem. But we've still got the lower bracket to go, and I believe that's what's coming up tomorrow. Escape versus Power Rangers, and now Flipside versus Finem. They will be fighting for life in the